going? Wow, can you believe this beautiful weather we're having? It's so hard to believe that this time last week that we were worrying about our pipes freezing and rolling blackouts and schools being canceled or being moved to remote learning because of the below freezing temperatures. I don't know if you guys recognize this fountain behind me, but this is the fountain across the street from the church in front of the Justice Center. I don't know how many of you saw this fountain last week, but it was like frozen like some sort of Arctic glacier or something. It just barely had the water spewing out of the top of it. But with a little bit warmer of temperatures and the sun shining brightly for a couple of days, it has managed to thaw out. I think I might move inside. It's a little bit windy out here. Okay, that's better. I'm sure many of you have seen the movie Frozen, but in case some of you have not, it's basically a story of two sisters in which one of the sisters' hearts has become frozen, and they learn that only an act of true love can thaw a frozen heart. How many times have we allowed our hearts to become frozen through bad relationships, family squabbles, disappointments, other life happenings? Our hearts can become frozen. And when they do, we become cynical, bitter, hateful, and we see the world differently and stop seeing the beauty around us. In Ephesians 4:18, it says, they are darkened in their understanding and separated from the life of God because the ignorance that it has in them due to the hardenings of their hearts. Our hearts can grow cold for many reasons. Maybe hurts, habits, or hang-ups, failed relationships, or maybe our heart has become cold against one person in particular. Past hurt, abuse, betrayal, maybe it's fear or even lack of trust. Regardless of the reason, we are fully capable of shutting God and others out, letting fear and mistrust take root, building walls and looking for ways either to run or isolate ourselves. We are all capable of a frozen heart that needs thawing. The difference between the story of the sisters in Frozen in reality is that God is our act of true love, and He is the one sure way to help us thaw our frozen hearts. Sacrifice is found in life and sacrificial death of Jesus, who died for us, and His death and love can melt the frozen, hardened hearts. Jesus is the act of true love that melts our hearts towards God and continues to melt our hearts when we are frozen towards others. Our frozen hearts separate us from God, but only an act of true love can thaw a frozen heart. In 1 John 4:7-8, it says, "Beloved, let us love one another, for love is from God, and everyone who is love is born of God and knows God. The one who does not love does not know God, for God is love." By opening up to God's love, we open ourselves up to love. God has a plan for us. God's will make everything right at the right place and the right time. We can look for love, but until we find God, we will never know true love, for God is love. As Matthew 19:26 says, with man this is impossible, but with God all things are possible. So even though we may have been frozen by the world around us, once we find God and accept His love and His will, our heart will thaw, because only an act of God will thaw a frozen heart. So with what seems like has been a long, dark, cold winter, let's examine our hearts. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I feel like my heart has definitely become frozen with all that's going on in this world and things going on within my own personal life. And I definitely need the sunshine. But I felt like, much like that frozen fountain with the water just trickling out, but I've realized this, and I have handed my heart over to God, and I will just continue praying that He will help me to completely thaw, and that He will show me His will, and that I will become more like that thawed fountain with the waters flowing to its full capacity as it was made to do. We need to know that our God loves us too much to leave us where we are. He wants us to increase our faith, reliance upon Him, and our love for Him. He wants to do work in each of us. So let's be willing to allow God to transform our hearts and find His will for us. Now go and have a great evening. Enjoy that sunshine. Take care, guys.